I am an artist and filmmaker in Toronto. I am also an Israeli citizen. I left Israel 23 years ago and I've been living in Canada ever since. Here's my Israeli passport. Here's my Israeli ID. And Army exemption card. I didn't serve in the Army. Last week, I submitted an application to renounce my Israeli citizenship in the consulate here in Toronto. It wasn't a decision I made lightly. I've been thinking about it for a long time. In fact, from the moment I learned about the real history of the place where I grew up, the history that wasn't taught to us in schools or even talked about while I was living there, until last week at the consulate, it's been a really long process that took 2 decades. Yes, I did it in response to Israel's horrific assault on Gaza, but since this isn't the first time that Israel is bombing Gaza, why now? Why this moment? Because the amount of casualties has reached catastrophic proportions, and even though we're in a temporary ceasefire or pause or whatever you want to call it right now, it seems like it's not going to end anytime soon. And even Israeli officials are saying that after the pause, they intend to keep bombing for 2 more months at least. When I refused to serve in the Army at age 18, it wasn't because of any sort of political awareness. I was living in a small town and I had no idea what I was doing. It was because I recognized the violent, macho energy that I remembered from the bullies of my childhood. I recognized it in this new system that I was expected to serve, and I felt my entire being resist it. When I was 26, I accidentally learned about the Nakba while looking for something online. When I was 36 and I went back there for the first time when my grandmother died, I traveled through the West Bank with my Canadian passport. I went through the checkpoints. I saw the soldiers and how they treat people depending on where they're from. I saw the double sets of roads, one for Jewish Israelis and one for Palestinians. I saw the 8-meter concrete wall cutting into towns, separating communities, separating family members. And throughout all of that, the people I met were nothing but kind to me. And when I crossed the border back to Israel and I watched the news, they were talking about the same people who were feeding me and helping me find my way as irrational, heartless animals that want to kill me. I haven't considered myself an Israeli citizen or even Israeli for so long that I'm actually surprised that it took me this many years to get to this point, and I was a little bit embarrassed. But I think I know why it took me so long. Israel spends so much time and money inciting its own people against each other, family members, friends, neighbors. This decision is going to affect my life, my ability to visit the place where I grew up. It's going to affect my relationship with my family, my relationships with the people closest to me, not just there, but here in Canada. I spent the past few weeks crying over witnessing horrific, heartbreaking, fucked up death and pain, but also grieving over the possibility that I may lose my relationship with my family. And there are many of us in this position, and we don't even live there, but the poison of that incitement is affecting us as well. I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want to be part of it. I don't want to be connected to it. I want you to take the time to imagine what has to happen for you to reject a citizenship and a passport. Everything that led to this decision, the process that led to this decision, was filled with pain and anger and grief. But this decision is necessary. I'm done. I hope that it will send a message, and I hope that other people in my position will consider doing the same. When I came out of the consulate last week, a group of friends waited for me outside, and I read a statement that I wrote beforehand. I'm going to make the statement available. It explained my personal trajectory, how I ended up in Israel, and how the circumstances of my arrival dictated the conditions of my life there. For those of you who are considering and want to ask me questions about the process of renunciation, you can find me. Thank you for watching.